My family was really supportive. Some of the things, just little things, my dad and mom would give me foot rubs like most every night. Granted, I lived at home when I was pregnant, so that was, they could do that. My little brother, who I said that I'm really close with, and he's 9 years younger than me. He slept in my bed with me. I have a queen size bed, so he slept in my bed with me a lot. We listened to Harry Potter. We love Harry Potter. We listened to the books on CD, pretty much all of the books, like the whole pregnancy. And he teased me that towards the due date, when I was getting more tired, that I would fall asleep, and he's like, you don't remember what happened. But he was there.
He was there close to you.
Yeah. Taking
care of you.
And he's like my best friend, so that he was probably my number one kind of support. My family, I didn't talk, I don't think, a lot about my emotions and different things. Just, I've never been a big talker about that, but if I did need to talk, they were there for me. So whenever that was, did you?
No, mostly what I noticed is the general overall support from the entire family, and especially your brother, your mom, your dad, of course, your brothers, and McKay also, your youngest brother, was just, they were there for you. Yeah, we all pulled together.
One thing that I just thought of, my sister-in-law was pregnant with their first, so pretty much, I guess, the second grandchild, and she was due just a few months after. And I told her at one point that I was having a hard time talking with her about her pregnancy, just because, I was going to be placing my child, but she got to keep hers. And I knew why, and everything was right, but it just was hard for me. So she was really supportive and would talk to me about anything, but she tried not talking about being pregnant and, showing me outfits she got for now my nephew. And I know that was probably hard for her because she probably wanted to talk to me, being sister-in-law, oh, let's talk about baby. But she did well that I asked her, I just can't talk about that right now because it's hard for me. So it was really nice of her to do that.
For me, my biggest support would be my parents and my sister. My two brothers and their wives, they were supportive, but my sister was by my side the whole time after placement. I was always at her house. I didn't want to be alone, so I was always at her house with her and her kids because it was school was about to be out. And my oldest nephew, my second oldest nephew, her oldest boy, would always be by my side. Until this day, he's always by my side. He'll hold my hand. And on Mother's Day that year, 2 years ago, he gave me a mustard seed necklace and said, "Happy Mother's Day. Always have faith in you." And I lost it. I bawled. And he went to my sister and he's like, she's crying. What did I do? And my sister's like, Josh, it's okay. She's happy. And so I hugged him and told him thanks and told him it was okay. And till then, my other nieces and nephews, they're supportive, but he was always by my side and with my sister, with my parents. And also, they always sent me pictures every day, so I wasn't feeling down. And she would tell me to come over and talk to her if I needed to, or they would show up at my house with Kate and the boys just so that they knew I was okay. And
yeah, there's definitely, after placement, you need to have loving support around you, watching over you and taking care of you, because it's you're just worn out. It seemed like you were just worn out, and it was hard to do anything. And it was important to have that that support from your family and loved ones just taking care of you through that difficult time.
Right after the actual placement, when I got home, we have a picture so I have 3 brothers, and they each were, one was rubbing one foot, one's rubbing the other foot, and one's like rubbing my hands. And I mean, it's kind of silly, but it's just a really sweet picture. Like, they just were taking care of me. Mm-hmm. So.
You know, I felt badly because I still had a month of school left. I had to go to work every day, and I had to leave her, and I didn't have any time that I could take off. And I'd taken some sick days so that I could be with her on days during the pregnancy when she wasn't well, and so I couldn't take any more time off. So I was really appreciative of the time that the kids took over, and particularly my other daughter. And but there was one time that I remember that must have been a Saturday, because we hadn't heard from them. We hadn't heard from the adoptive parents for a couple of days, and Lindy had just said, I think I'll text them and see if I can have a picture of her today. And she texted her, and within, 30 minutes, they were at our door with the baby. Bringing the baby in so Lindy could see her. And lucky for us, they only live 5 minutes away. I mean, that meant so much. It's all right. That meant so much to us to know that they were constantly aware of, what does she need? Does she need this? And the one thing that we always said during the entire pregnancy is, we would play scenarios out. Well, what if this happens? What would you think? Or, how should we handle this if this happens? And the adoptive father, his answer to everything was, we simply communicate. You simply tell us. Mm-hmm. You just tell us. And if we can't do that, we will tell you. And so I think that openness and not being afraid to call them and say, hey, I really need a picture. I really need to see her. Would it be okay if I came over? They never ever turned us down, did they? And we didn't want to be too demanding. We didn't feel like we could ask that. We're just sitting in the, we are the birth grandparents, but we're not the grandparents, and so we didn't think that it was our place to do that. And I remember another time. Ted and I hadn't seen, Lindy's father and I hadn't seen the baby Lindy had, but we hadn't, for probably 2, maybe 3 weeks. No, I guess it was 2 weeks. And they called us and said, can we come over? Mm-hmm. And we hadn't said anything. And we said, heavens, yes, come, and they brought all the kids and the baby, and we got to have the whole family there with us. And it was just as if one of my own children that I had birthed was in the room, and that was just so special to know that if we haven't seen them, they're the ones that pick up the phone and say, you haven't seen our kids in about 2 weeks. We're coming over. And so